and
I'm Emily Hoffman.
and I've been lifeguarding here at the Julesburg swimming pool for 3 years,
This is my second year working here.
and I really like just being out in the sun all day and being able to watch the kids and watch them have fun. And
Yeah, I enjoy the little kids and watching them, and get a good tan too. So yeah.
On a hot summer day in 1938, a pair of McKinstry boys appeared as Paleolithic Indians. The scantily clad kids, dressed only in loincloth hand-me-down swimsuits, near naked and barefoot, danced on the hot sidewalks as they departed for their 4th Street home, bound for the Julesburg swimming pool. At that time, the swimming pool was located near the Julesburg Electric Power Plant and about where the water tower now stands.
Here with Walter McKinstry Jr.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you a few follow-up questions, Walt.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk to me about, kind of give me the timeline of when you started swimming. That beginning in what, 1938?
1938, we moved to Julesburg, and I became a pool rat. And every afternoon, I went down to the swimming pool. They had several children had died, drowned in the irrigation ditches and down at the river sand pit. And so it was real serious. It was a wonderful thing for the children to have a place to go in the summertime and swim. So that's when I started in 1938.
And you were how old?
8 years old.
8 years old. And it looks like you have a drawing here of the swimming pool.
Yes.
Can you briefly take me through it a little bit?
Yes,
Okay.
the Julesburg swimming pool was about half the size of the current pool here on the north side of town. This pool was in the area now, which is the tower, the city water tower area, next to the Conoco station. The Conoco station had a warehouse, which is still there, and it's the Conoco office, and that is right next to the pool. And the wall of the Conoco station was the warehouse was right close to the pool, and we would crawl up on top of the roof. And when the lifeguard pool manager wasn't looking or was occupied, we would run off the roof and jump in the pool.
So that would have been from
here to here.
Oh my goodness. How far of a jump was that?
Well, probably 15 feet.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Was it hot? Was the roof hot?
Yeah, the roof was tar roof. Hot.
Oh my gosh.
Hot black tar.
I can't believe you did that. No wonder you joined the Army. You were up for all kinds of risk taking, weren't you?
Yes.
And so when you were 8 years old, which end of the pool were you at?
I was at the little end down here by the highway. It was 2 feet deep. And you had to learn to dog paddle.
Yes.
Just turn your feet and your arms like a dog, and learn to keep your head above the water, and then you gradually learn to do the crawl.
Huh. And then did you get to swim in the deep end?
Then you got to swim in the deep end.
Once you learned how to...
Once you learned how to keep your head up above the water.
And master the dog paddling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You graduated.
All right. Thank you for showing me that wonderful drawing. And you drew that from memory, yeah?
Yes.
Wow, that's great. Thank you.
Mhm.
So after you went through school and you swam every year, right? You swam every summer, right?
Yes.
And you were a lifeguard.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, the best swimmers usually became the pool managers and the lifeguards.
And so you were lifeguarding for how long? How many summers?
1 year.
Okay.
1 year.
And then after that?
After that, I went to college and I also then I worked out in the farms. It was during the war, and I worked out in the farms and wheat fields,
Yeah.
shocking oats, and doing farm work.
And you, when you went to college, you were on the diving team.
No.
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 But you learned how to dive.
Oh, yes. I learned how to dive at Julesburg.
Yes. And who taught you that?
I think Kirby Billington taught me to do the gainer, which was the front flip, doing a backflip frontwards, is a gainer.
Yes.
And then Gene Sauter taught me how to do the twist, where you twisted your complete body going down to a dive. And then Eddie McNamara taught me how to do some other dives.
And when you left Julesburg and you enlisted in the Army, right?
No, I got drafted
You got drafted.
in the Army.
Excuse me. You got drafted.
I got drafted.
And you were drafted into the Army. And that was during what time frame?
During the Korean War in the 1950s.
Okay. And you said that when you got to your destination, you joined the Army swim team.
Yes. The European Army swim team in Frankfurt, Germany. And they were going to Berlin for a swim meet. And they asked me to go along. And so my boss, the major, gave me leave. And I went with the Army swimming team to Berlin, and we in competition with the swimming team in Berlin in Hitler's swimming pool, which was 75 meters long, which is as long as a football field. And we had a great time. I did a few dives. And then they suddenly told me I had to do the last lap of the relay, and I could hardly see the other end of the pool. And my goodness, those all-American swimmers, they did the backstroke and they did the breaststroke, and then I was supposed to do the last lap as a crawl, and they had a great big lead because they were really good swimmers. And then they started me on the last lap, and I had to swim the whole length of that pool, flat out, as hard as I could. And I got to the end, and my arms were just like lead, and I could hardly breathe. And I got to the end of the pool, and I slapped the end of the pool, and we won just by a few inches.
So your time here in Julesburg, then, kind of that swimming, it just followed you through, and then you returned with your family to Julesburg. You
bought the newspaper here.
You bought the newspaper,
and I was editor and publisher for 13 years.
And during that time that you had been gone,
they built a new pool up by the football field.
Yeah,
and I'd get to go up, but the diving board wasn't there, the little board, and the standard had been broken, and they'd taken the fiberboard out at the fairgrounds, and I saw it out there, and I asked them what was the matter, and they said, well, we couldn't afford a new standard, so they wanted $3,000 or $3,500 to get a new standard for that little board, and so I donated that so I'd have a diving board.
Well, and then other people benefited.
Yeah,
yeah. but you had a diving board, by
yeah.
golly.
And they took down the large one and now the big one for liability factor, and I think, and so now it's the only board there, the little one.
What's the standard? Just
it's all the metal that holds the board. It's the frame.
Okay.
And that holds all the works. You know, the ladder and the frame to hold the board.
So, how long have you used the swimming pool?
All my life. when I'm here.
It's lifelong.
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
Oh,
about
yes.
Swimming?
I'd say it's a great, it's a key point of our summer recreation program. And it's great for prevention of juvenile delinquency. It's a wonderful attribute to the community. And also great, we have the factor of the tourists. And at most of the time we would allow people to the Welcome Center, we'd tell them we'd give them a free swim to come stay in town. So it's a tourist attraction too.
For people to cool off.
Yeah.
Well, it kept you from being delinquent.
Yes. It kept me out of jail.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I'd like to see the success of a new swimming pool. I think it'd be a wonderful investment, a very valuable investment.
All right.
I'm Gunnar McAtee. I've been a lifeguard here at Julesburg Swimming Pool for 4 years.
I'm Riley Ferguson. I've been a lifeguard for 2 years.
For me, the pool means a lot to me because I used to come here all the time when I was a kid. And looking up to the lifeguards, they were just the coolest people ever, so I wanted to do the same thing for them. So being here as a lifeguard means a lot to me to have a connection with those kids in the pool right now. And I think that a lot of the kids aren't coming anymore because they're on playing video games and stuff like that. The pool gets a little old, and a new age of kids, there's different things that they're doing nowadays. And a new pool would mean so much to this community to get them active, get them outside. I think that means a lot.
With getting the new pool, I think it'd be a lot more entertainment for the kids because some of the slides are kind of old and they don't work as well, and the diving board's kind of old. It'd be really nice to have a high dive back. I know a lot of kids are like, why don't we have a high dive? And it'd be really nice to have a high dive and other activities at the pool.
Hello, this is Ashley Morostica. I was both a lifeguard and a pool manager. My time spent there was from 2003 until 2008. I have several fond memories of the pool, from CPR and BLS class with Linda and Rex, to daily visits from Mick and Craig, giving us heck, checking the chlorine level, leaving us with a little one-liner or a little joke. I also have memories of the great friendships I built, getting to mingle with kiddos and parents, to giving swimming lessons, and I love night swim to see the whole family unit come together. But the best part was honestly the water aerobics. I had several older ladies that would come, and we had a blast. They would come regardless of the temperature. If it was a Friday, they'd still come. I was probably hoping to get out of there a little early, but they would show up. We would do the same tape over and over and sit and tell stories and laugh. It was just wonderful. The pool is super vital to our community. It's a place where kids can go and parents feel safe sending them as the lifeguards are trained. They can exercise, socialize, mingle, have pool checks. Pool checks were also really crazy because oftentimes we'd have different kiddos, putting on quite the display. I remember Blaine and Johnny putting on quite the show for everybody. Alex, we just had a blast. Sometimes I'm like, okay guys, let's get cracking, you're on the clock. The pool is just super vital to our community. It's just somewhere for kids to be able to go and have fun. And for me, it taught me work ethic, a sense of responsibility. People's lives are in your hands. You have to know what to do if they dive in an area too shallow. You have to worry about the spinal cord. What if they choke? All that good stuff we had to worry about. So it just taught me a lot of work ethic, responsibility, cleaning the inside pool deck, keeping it clean, keeping it organized, using the vacuum, which was always a nightmare. Starting it like a lawnmower, and sometimes that thing would not start, would not suck. And so it would take a lot longer than it should have. But overall, I have nothing but wonderful memories. I remember as a child taking the deep end test. It was such a privilege. I remember the amazing lifeguards and swimming lesson instructors I had growing up. They were so great to us. They pushed us. They socialized with us. They were great role models. And then, if the weather was bad, they would take us home, drop us off. They would let us come back behind and find whatever crazy ice cream thing we were wanting that we could not describe properly. They would just embrace the time they had with us. And so I think I learned from them to try to be the best that I could be. So I hope this new pool renovation occurs. It would be quite amazing.
Hello, my name is Natalie Miller. For those of you who don't know me, I was born and raised here, and I have chosen Julesburg to be my home once again. And I'm very thankful that my kids are able to grow up in this wonderful small community, just like I was able to. Ironically, on the same street, across from the same house, so it's sweet. One unforgettable experience that I spent when I was their age was going to the pool, and I'm so glad that they're able to experience that as well. They will stay at the pool all day, every day. They're at that age where they can last that long, and it's a lot of fun because that's what you do in the summer in Julesburg, because if you're not playing t-ball, you're not having practices, and you're not getting driven to games, what else is there to do? Yes, we do have a lot of activities that we plan with different groups, but to have something scheduled Monday through Friday, it's a different story. I think that it's very important for our youth that us as parents in a community provide outdoor activities for our kids. The pool not only provides fun in the sun and great interaction with others, but it provides the opportunity to learn to swim at a young age. Having swimming lessons available is critical to this community. Like I said, let's go back 20 years. I rode my bike to the pool every day, all day. I lived in my swimming suit, just in case there was a large body of water around. At that point, I then lifeguard for 4 years during the summer, which was awesome because it was flexible. Yes, it wasn't very many hours, but as we all know, active kids, in their teenage years that are in sports and attending camps and softball, it's an ideal job for a high school student as their summer job. So I really enjoyed it. I really felt like that pool is a part of me because I grew up with it and always had it there. So I guess to conclude this message, I hope that by sharing my memories of the pool as a child and now as a mom, help reiterate the importance of having a community pool such as the Julesburg community swimming pool. Thanks for your time.
My name is Audrey Edwards. I was a lifeguard at the Julesburg swimming pool from 2005 to 2008. So 4 awesome summers spent here as a lifeguard. My most fond memory of the pool is definitely swimming lessons and getting to work with little kids who are just learning how to swim and just coming to have fun and get acquainted with the pool and the lifeguards and the water, and that was definitely the best part, working with those kids. The pool impacted me very positively because it gave me a job in the summers when this is a community that doesn't have a lot of jobs to offer to young people. So it was very important for me not only to gain some of those employment skills, but also just something fun to do in the summers in a town where there's, like I said, not much to do. The pool is extremely important to our community because it gives kids a safe place to go where they're doing something active and getting to be with friends and socializing, and instead of just sitting at home and hanging out on their couch. So I'm super supportive of the Julesburg pool. Great memories here growing up, and now that I'm grown and have kids of my own, I am still bringing my kids to the Julesburg pool. It means a lot to our family.
On behalf of SCORE and the town of Julesburg, we'd just like to say thank you for all your continued support. We appreciate everything the community has done to support this pool project between your monetary and volunteered time. You have really demonstrated how important this pool is to the community. Again, we'd just like to say thank you, and SCORE is here to continue with this pool project until we can get a new pool for this community. Thank you.
My name is Gina Johnson. I am the manager of the Fort Sedgwick Museum in Julesburg, which is where we're at right now. This is the three-wing display. This features some pictures of Julesburg, and we just found these couple old pictures of the first swimming pool. And then this is actually probably from the 50s or 60s of the current swimming pool. I am really, really excited about the possibility of a new swimming pool coming in. I think it's really important to our community. I have lived in Julesburg almost my whole life, grew up going to the swimming pool every day. In the summer, once we got our chores done, we could choose, do you want to go to the pool from 1 to 3 o'clock and then out at pool check at 3, or do you want to go from 3 to 5? So spent lots and lots of days at the pool. As a matter of fact, when I was probably 15, I suppose, a young guy walked up to me. I'd seen him around. I knew he was from Julesburg, and he said to me, "So, Gina, how tall are you?" And that guy ended up being my husband. Still married to Vic, almost 39 years. I also, even all through high school, I always had a job in the summer and would plan my schedule around my swimming pool suntan time. So I worked out at Wagon Wheel Conoco for the Crims, Max and Mary Crims, and I took the early shift so I could go out at 4 o'clock in the morning and serve the coffee to the farmers who sat at the farmer table. And then I would be off of work by 1:30, and I was at the pool by 2 o'clock. So even up through high school and college, the swimming pool was still very, very important to me. My kids, both, our kids, Vic and I, our kids both were lifeguards at the swimming pool. It was so great for them to have summer employment, which we thought was very important that they had a job. So that worked out very nicely. And now I get to take my grandkids to the pool. And I'm really looking forward to this new project because I just think it's going to be a great place for our town, for our families, and for visitors. So I could end with shouting out, Marco!
Polo!